Millions of seniors are about to see changes to their Social Security, and most don't even realize it yet. If you're already receiving Social Security benefits, or you're getting close to retirement and planning to file soon, what's happening right now in Washington could directly affect how much money you receive every single month. And here's the part most people miss. Some of these Social Security changes for 2025 and 2026 are already law. Others are moving through Congress right now with real momentum. This is not speculation. This is not opinion. These are real Social Security updates, real policy changes, and real decisions that could impact your retirement income starting sooner than you think. And in just a few minutes, I'm going to break this down in plain English so you can clearly understand what's already changed, what could change next, and what you should be doing right now to protect your benefits. Because this isn't just policy, this is your monthly income. Let's start with something that doesn't get said clearly enough. Social Security is not a handout. It's not charity, and it's not a favor from the government. It's something you paid into for decades. Every paycheck, money was taken out before you ever saw it. You didn't get a choice. You contributed through good times and bad, through recessions, inflation, and uncertainty, and you were promised that when you reached retirement, that money would be there. For millions of Americans, that promise is everything. In fact, without Social Security, nearly 4 out of 10 seniors would fall below the poverty line. With Social Security, that number drops dramatically. So when we talk about changes to this system, we're not talking about something small. We're talking about something that determines whether bills get paid, whether medications are affordable, and whether retirement feels stable or stressful. Now, here's where things start to get frustrating. Many retirees have noticed the same pattern over the years. Prices go up, but their Social Security check doesn't seem to keep up. Groceries cost more, housing costs more, prescription drugs cost more, but the annual increase, the COLA adjustment, often feels too small. So what's going on? Here's the issue most people don't realize. The government calculates Social Security COLA using something called the CPIW. That's based on spending habits of people who are still working. But if you're retired, your spending looks very different. You're not commuting every day. You're not spending heavily on work-related costs. Instead, you're spending more on healthcare, medications, and housing. And those costs have been rising much faster than general inflation. So what happens? The formula underestimates your real expenses, and over time that creates a gap that slowly reduces your purchasing power year after year. Now here's something important, and this is where things start to shift. There are now real efforts in Congress to change how Social Security increases are calculated, and in a moment, I'll explain what that could mean for your monthly check. But first, let's talk about a major change that has already happened. In early 2025, a significant Social Security update became law. This change affected millions of retirees, especially those who worked in public service. Teachers, police officers, firefighters, and other government workers were impacted for years by rules that reduced their benefits. Even if they paid into Social Security through other jobs, their benefits were often cut unfairly. That has now changed. Those reductions have been eliminated, and millions of retirees are now receiving higher payments, and in many cases, retroactive money. In fact, billions of dollars have already been distributed. But here's something you need to know. Not everyone has received their full adjustment yet. So if you believe you were affected, it's critical to check your status, because this is money you earned. Now let's go back to the bigger picture, because this is where things get even more important. There are new proposals being discussed right now that could change how your future Social Security increases are calculated. Instead of using a formula based on working individuals, there is a push to use one designed specifically for seniors, a formula that gives more weight to healthcare, housing, and real retirement expenses. If that happens, it could mean higher COLA increases in the future. But as of now, this change has not been finalized. It's still being debated. And that brings us to the next issue you need to understand: long-term stability. You may have heard concerns about Social Security running out. Here's the truth: the system is not disappearing. But if no changes are made, there could be reductions in the future. That's why lawmakers are actively discussing solutions right now. Some proposals focus on increasing funding, others focus on adjusting how the system is structured, and this is where things become very important for you, because the decisions being made today will shape how strong your benefits remain in the years ahead. So what should you actually do right now? Let's make this practical. First, make sure your Social Security record is accurate. Even small errors can reduce your benefit over time. Second, if you haven't claimed yet, think carefully about timing. Delaying your claim can significantly increase your monthly payment. And for many retirees, that increase is one of the most powerful financial decisions they can make. Third, if you're married, this decision isn't just about you. It affects your spouse, especially when it comes to survivor benefits. Now, let me say something important. None of these changes happened by accident. They happened because people paid attention, because retirees spoke up, because they asked questions, made calls, and stayed informed. And that still matters. Here's the bottom line. Real Social Security changes are happening right now. Some are already in effect. Others are on the way. And whether you realize it or not, they have the potential to impact your income, your planning, and your financial security. You worked your entire life for these benefits. You earned them. And understanding how they're changing may be one of the most important steps you can take right now. If this helped you understand something you hadn't heard before, take a second and make sure you don't miss what comes next, because the next updates could affect you even more.